Yeah, Governor Gavin Newsom is in some hot water today. He posted something that a lot of people are interpreting as a threat, a very scary message. So I just want to warn you, if you don't want to hear anything so shattering to your ears, you're more than welcome to leave. I understand if it's just too much to bear. So during a press conference yesterday, Newsom said, I think the actions we asserted today, the laws that we just advanced today, run in complete contrast to what she's asserting and what she's pushing, referring to Noem. And then at the same time, his press office posted the following statement: Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today. You're welcome, America. Now, Department of Homeland Security spokesperson said this reads like a threat. This is ugly. Um, and then the same lady, she's not Noem, her spokesperson, she said that Newsom's staff is a keyboard warrior team that hides behind their laptops to spew this kind of vitriol, but you would never have the guts to say this to her face. Then the White House Director of Communications wrote, to make a threat like this, especially on the Memorial Weekend for Charlie, is beyond the pale and totally disgusting. This is what happens when Gavin Newsom lets deranged leftist lunatics post messages on his behalf. So, I think if this were a regular old standard person online, I could be more susceptible to believing that it's scary. But, and I say this as someone who can't stand Newsom, so this is not some defense of his vernacular or the types of statements or comments he makes. When you have the governor of a state with a pretty large immigrant population who is trying to at least appear to be diametrically opposed to what Noem is trying to do with the deportations and the various arrests, it's kind of obvious that when he says she's going to have a bad day, he's referring to when she comes over here trying to enforce the immigration policy of the administration she's under. It's not going to work out too well for her. So she's going to be met with a lot of like pushback and resistance, and it'll just be a very frustrating experience from her vantage point. Now, if a random person, like for example, I'm not famous, so like let's say I went on Twitter and I said, in reference to Noem coming to California, if Kristi Noem comes to California, she's going to have a very bad day. Maybe, again, I could be more receptive to people thinking, what is that supposed to mean? Because it is an ominous message, but it's a message where, depending on who it's coming from, can you really say, oh my God, I'm so scared for Kristi? And I've been very consistent. I don't want any bad, any kind of like violence or bad things to happen to Trump and his, sidekicks. I don't support violence. I condemn the Kirk shooting, or I guess the assassination as a more proper term to use. So this is not about, me favoring someone, doing something bad to her if she comes over here. Rather, it's me saying that if the governor is saying she's going to have a not good day, it's probably, again, relating to resistance to her policies versus actually having some kind of ill intent towards her safety. And man, watching these people just clutch their pearls, it's always funny. Oh, what is he trying to say? This is disgusting. And when the spokesperson said they wouldn't have the nerve to say this to Kristi's face, what's funny to me is like, if Newsom came and said, I can't stand Noem, she's disgusting, she's horrible, like that would be the kind of comment or statement where I'd be more, believing in terms of he wouldn't say that to her. But a governor telling a governor in a state with a pretty large population of migrants and undocumented citizens, illegal immigrants, wherever you call them, the governor who's in charge of that state telling the Homeland Security Secretary, who he's opposed to the positions of, you're going to have a bad day today. That's really that's the statement and comment that's supposed to be terrifying. like if you go back and read even what he said at his press conference, it's some pretty tame stuff. He doesn't really like call her any names or condemn her in any sort of way. It's extremely milquetoast. So the idea that he's like sitting there fearful of what to say to Secretary Noem, come on, man. But that's the problem with all these, communication directors and spokespersons. they're all tasked with making whoever they're in favor of seem like strong, or making them look good, obviously. But at a certain point, it kind of just turns into official state propaganda. Like, Noem is such an intimidating figure that Governor Newsom wouldn't dare say what was written to her face. Like, okay, what was written? That if she comes to that she's going to have a bad day today. It's such a joke, man.